I'd like to call this meeting to order, tonight's special Standish Town Council meeting. If everyone could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Janet, can you do roll call, please?
We can. Ron? Here. Libby?
Here.
Lowe?
Here.
Macri?
Here.
Strubing? Here. Thomas?
Here.
Watson?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. We have one public hearing this evening. Before we start that public hearing, I just wanted to go over the referendum process. It's something new for a lot of us here in town. We haven't done one in a while. So the referendum process, the petition has been turned in, signatures have been validated, the question has been set, and tonight is a public hearing on that, which we'll get to in just a moment. Tonight's agenda, we're also there's a few other things related to that we're going to be hearing. One is the warrant for that vote that's gonna happen on November 3rd, and then we're also gonna discuss a moratorium later this evening as well. One thing I did want to bring to everyone's attention is that when we do a citizen initiative, in order, not only do you have to, for either a yes or a no, there has to be a majority of votes. So if we're looking for a yes, not only does there have to be a majority vote yes, but also for the citizen initiative, we need to have 1,526 voters to turn in ballots. So not only are you trying to get a majority of people, you're also trying to get people to the polls. Similar for the two charter amendments that we will be voting on in November. The charter amendment vote is a little less. It requires 1,498 voters. So now I'm going to open the public hearing this evening. The way we're going to go is each person can have 3 minutes to speak so that everybody has a chance to speak this evening. Who would like to go first?
Oh, can you say it a little louder, Jen?
Sure.
Said they were gonna turn the microphone on.
We did ask. We told them that there was a problem and we were told it was being addressed.
Good evening. My name is Frances, and I live at 46 Pine Grove Drive in Pine Tree Estates. We own our homes but have no market choice. That's captive tenancy. Mobile home park residents are not ordinary renters. We own our homes, but we rent the only land beneath them. And an apartment tenant dislikes a rent increase, that person may be able to move to another apartment. We cannot simply move our homes to another lot. Moving can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Suitable lots are extremely limited, and some homes cannot safely or economically be moved at all. That means the park owner knows residents have no practical competing provider and no realistic way to leave without risking the largest asset they own. A free market requires meaningful choice. When one side owns the only land beneath your home and controls the rent, fees, and rules, that is captive tenancy, not normal market competition. This is why we need enforceable lot rent stabilization. This is stabilization, not a rent freeze. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you want me to read that? Oh, geez, she's got me up here for two of them. Okay, mandatory fees require accountability. Fees are part of the housing cost. Residents do not pay only lot rent. Mandatory fees can be added to the same monthly bill, increasing the total of remaining in the community. Residents deserve to know exactly what every mandatory fee covers, how it was calculated, who receives the money, and whether the park receives any commission, rebate, or administrative benefit. When a service or protection is required, residents should also be allowed to purchase equivalent coverage elsewhere and provide proof whenever reasonably possible. A fee should not escape review simply because it is listed separately from rent to the resident paying the bill. It is all part of the cost of keeping a home on the lot. The ordinance must protect residents from excessive increases in both rent and mandatory fees. Stable housing protects Standish. Again, thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Pamela Pogenpool. I live at 47 Birch Drive in Pine Tree Estates. Corporate investment and community needs, homes should not be treated only as investment assets. Business publications openly promote manufactured home parks as attractive investments. Because supply is limited, occupancy is high, residents rarely leave, and rent produces predictable cash flow. One industry article described investors as testing the limits of lot rent affordability. To investors, that may sound like a strategy. To residents, it means testing how much seniors, working families, and people with disabilities can pay before losing their homes. There is nothing wrong with operating a successful business, but investment returns should not depend upon unlimited authority to raise the price of the only land beneath homes other people own. Our homes are where we raised families, built lives, and plan to retire. Housing policy must recognize the human consequences behind an investment calculation. This is why Standish must act. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Point of order, Jen, may I ask you to repeat when you first started, because many folks didn't hear it. So I know we're asking for them to come up, but some of them don't know what we're talking on and how much time they have.
Yeah, all right, so I'll start over. So we're here on a public hearing regarding the Citizens Initiative to regulate lot rent fee increases, establish a rent stabilization board, and set standards for rent adjustments. Each person will have 3 minutes to speak. And I also discussed what the vote minimums needed to pass the initiative. There needs to be, not only does there need to be a majority of yeses, there also needs to be at least 1,526 votes cast. Did everybody hear that time?
Yes.
Is that the average? What's the average for people voting?
It depends on the type of election. Gubernatorial have more or local elections.
Is that a high number or is that an average number?
I think
It's pretty low, actually. So in the last election for the town, we had about 2,600 people voting. So there's a percentage. It has to be 40% of a certain election. We should easily make those numbers in November without a problem. We should probably have 3,000 to 4,000 people voting. And so those numbers should be fine.
Okay.
Floor is yours, your name?
My name's Paula Bollier, and I'm a resident of Pine Tree. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The resident purchase law is valuable, but it does not protect Pine Tree Estate residents from what is happening now. That law becomes relevant only if the owner decides to sell the park. RHP purchased Pine Tree Estates years ago and is not offering it for sale. A future opportunity to assemble a cooperative and match a multi-million-dollar purchase offer is not a substitute for protection from excessive rent and mandatory fees increases every day. In saying that, other Mainers don't have this protection. It also ignores the unique position of mobile home owners. Traditional homeowners generally own the land beneath their homes. Apartment tenants do not own the building that they rent. Mobile homeowners can invest their life savings in a home while another company controls the land, rent, fees, and the essential services beneath it. Their homes may be extremely expensive or impossible to relocate. That unusual imbalance is precisely why specific protections are necessary. The claim that Maine's mediation law caused rents to skyrocket is also unsupported. The law did not order, require, or calculate those increases. It does not even impose a binding rent limit. It requires notice and allows a majority of affected households to request owner-paid mediation when a proposed increase exceeds a statutory threshold. After mediation, the owner generally remains free to proceed with an increase. If park owners accelerated increases before the law took effect, that was a deliberate business decision by those owners, not something the law compelled them to do. State officials subsequently said,
It's 1 more minute.
Oh,
Got
okay.
1 more minute.
Sorry.
okay, state officials subsequently said some owners were misinterpreting the law and its sponsors described blaming the law as an excuse. At Pine Tree Estates, substantial rent increases began after RHP purchased the community in 2019, years before this mediation law existed. Similar increases have occurred at corporate-owned parks across the country. Business publications openly promote manufactured home communities for the limited supply, high resident retention, pricing power, continued rent growth, and stable returns. Those are investment strategies, not accidental consequences of Maine residents requesting mediation. If companies respond to proposed consumer protections by racing to raise prices,
That's it for your time.
prices before, I'll finish this paragraph. Prices before these protections begin, the answer cannot be to reward the behavior by abandoning regulations that would teach every powerful industry that threatening the public works. The appropriate response is an anti-evasion provision that prevents owners from defeating a law through preemptive increases. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ivy Furley from 6 Pine Grove Drive. A free market requires a real choice. We keep hearing that mobile home lot rent stabilization interferes with the free market and that government has no business regulation private companies. But that is not how our economy or our law actually works. Government establishes rules when consumers have little meaningful choice or when unchecked market power threatens competition. I'm having an anxiety attack, so I'm going to take a moment and just sit down. Sorry.
Do you want the next person?
Yes, who's next?
Good evening. My name is Bradford Neil Martin. I live at Pine Tree Estates. Maine's mediation law is not enough. Establishing a state law does not limit increases. Some people say Maine already solved this problem. It has not. The current state law requires notice and allows residents to request mediation when an increase exceeds statutory benchmark. That mediation is non-binding. It does not establish a limit on the amount of an increase, and a mediator cannot impose a settlement. At Pine Tree Estates, mediation reduced the proposed increase from 4.3 to 4.1%. That difference did not provide residents with meaningful protection, and another increase may follow next year. Notice is helpful, a meeting is helpful, but neither one prevents homeowners from being priced out. Residents need an enforceable standard, not simply another conversation after the increase has already been implemented. Build more parks is not an immediate answer. This ordinance does not freeze lot rent, prohibit increases, or prevent park owner from covering legitimate expenses. It establishes predictable standards. If an owner believes a larger increase is necessary, the ordinance provides a public process for presenting documented operating expenses, capital improvements, and the need for an appropriate return. That is not an attack on business, it's accountability. Residents must document their income when applying for assistance, justify expenses when applying for loans, live within budgets every day. It is not unreasonable to require a national park owner to document the need for an increase exceeding community standards. The ordinance balances the owner's ability to operate the property with the homeowner's needs for housing stability. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Caroline Free Spirit. I live at 43 Birch Drive in Pine Tree Estates, and I'm speaking on behalf of Ivy, who'd asked me to complete her speech, so thank you. I'll start at the start. A free market requires a real choice. We keep hearing that mobile home lot rent stabilization interferes with the free market and that government has no business regulating private companies. But that is not how our economy or our laws actually work. Government establishes rules when consumers have very little meaningful choice or when an unchecked market power threatens competition. As examples, CMP is a private company, but it cannot impose any delivery rate it chooses. The main PUC regulates utility rates and requires them to be just and reasonable. Cable providers are private companies, but Maine law authorizes municipalities to require franchise agreements because these companies use public roads and rights of way. These agreements may address service areas, line extensions, franchise fees, public educational access, customer service standards, and other community needs. Insurance companies are private businesses, but many insurance rates and policy terms are subject to state review and approval. Maine even has a commission that establishes the minimum wholesale and retail milk prices, including a just and reasonable return for businesses. Federal antitrust laws prevent companies from simply buying every major competitor. In 2011, the Justice Department sued to stop AT&T from purchasing T-Mobile because it believed that the merger would mean higher prices, fewer choices, and poorer service, so AT&T abandoned that purchase. The government did not take over these businesses or declare these businesses should not earn a profit. It established protections where the public need, limited competition, or concentrated market power made ordinary market forces insufficient. Mobile home park residents face an especially serious lack of choice. We own our own homes, but we do not own the land beneath them. Our homes are expensive, difficult to move, and impossible to relocate. The United States Supreme Court itself recognized that mobile homes are largely immobile as a practical matter. It also rejected the argument that municipal mobile home lot rent ordinances automatically creates an unconstitutional physical taking. A homeowner faces large lot rent increase cannot simply take a business or their home elsewhere. Mobile home lot rent stabilization does not eliminate increases or prevent park owners from earning a return. It establishes a predictable community standard and a process for requesting additional increases. Free market should not mean that the side holding all of the practical power makes every rule. A free market requires real choice. This is all caps. Captive tenancy is not competition. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening. My name is Joshua Farley. I live at Pine Grove Drive, number 6. New supply of homes will not be protective. Current residents, additional affording housing would be welcome, but telling us to build another park does not answer the crisis facing Pine Tree residents today. A new park requires suitable land zone approval and
Did you rate that?
No, somebody.
Joshua, do you just want to speak from your heart?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Even if one were built, moving in
Existing manufactured
home can cost tens
tens of thousands.
of $1,000 and available lot must be willing and able to accept it. More than 220 Pine Tree households are
facing,
continuing increase, now a
hypothetical
hypothetical development years in the future will not protect them from next year bills. Long-term housing development. Long-term housing development and immediate home owners protections, right?
Yep.
Can exist together. We should pursue both. Wait for the market to build something is not a serious answer for residents at risk of losing homes they already own. Lot rent can destroy home equity. Thank you.
So thank you for letting us share that and my brother read that, and I apologize for the anxiety. I just sort of want to speak from my heart. Most of my time is spent taking care of my brother and learning fundamental literacy, math skills. Like, we are working on basic things in our home. So as far as like having an environment that's protected and having a council that really stands with you, making sure that like we're able to have affordable housing is critical, because we're one choice away from, or one choice by RHP away from being homeless. Like, that's devastating, I think. And so every day I'm facing anxiety trying to deal with the fundamental basic things of nurturing an environment so my home can be for my brother. My brother has a home. Like this, yeah, it's overwhelming. So I just wanted to say I apologize for the anxiety. I was asked to read a paper, but I thought maybe sharing the support with my brother so that he could read and you could see where our family's at and what we're facing. It's very real for us and it's scary. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Clifton Moran, Northeastern States. I guess I don't understand what we're even here for, because the state's already got a law into effect. It says exactly the same thing. You gotta give the people 90 days and you can go up the consumer index price plus 1%. Why does a town need to have the same thing? I don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense to me. And besides that, I hope there's nobody from my park here that's sponsoring this the way as good as I've treated them. The next thing is, if you get the 3%, okay, say I'm at $500, I can go up $15. Say somebody else is $1,000, they can go up $30. I have the exact same expenses they have. I have public water, I have sewer, plow roads, street lights. I have the same exact cost per home as they do. How come I can only go up $15? Not that I want to go up $30. I don't want to go up anything if I don't have to. I just went up $25 here a while ago, but I put $20,000 in down by the well house for something the state wanted me to do, that I've been doing the same thing for 42 years, but I had to upgrade to do it the way they thought it ought to be done. I had to put in a whole new drainage bed. I dumped 7 gallons of water, backwash water a day, 7 gallons. Cost me $20,000 for this leach field. I've been dumping it on the ground away from the well house for 42 years. But the state wanted it, so I have to follow the state's rules. So the $25 that I went up, I'm 3 years before I even get my $20,000 back. I mean, would anybody here invest $20,000 and not receive it, even the money back for 3 years? Say nothing about making anything. I mean, I know I got the other the rent and whatever else, but I just, I don't know what we're doing this for. I do know what we're doing it for. Believe me, I know what we're doing it for. But this, we should somehow separate this out. It's not one bit fair. My wife and I work there all the time. I don't know. I'm 81 years old. I've lived in this town all my life, up the road, 1/8 of a mile. I would hope that I don't get shut off on time if somebody shows me a little respect. Not that I'm gonna talk too much, but I'm just saying. You know, this does not make any sense to me when the state's already got it into effect. And I don't agree with the state either. Because why can anybody get involved in something that they don't own or have a dime invested in? It's no different than any kind of a business, no different. My wife and I didn't do this just because we love people. Excuse me?
Your time is up.
That's what I just said. I hope somebody has some respect after being here 81 years to give me a little more time. Not that I won't say anything else, but I don't think that's right. I remember when this road out here was a dirt road.
Thank you.
It's going. My name is Maxwell Sweeney. I live at 5 Holly Lane in Pine Tree Estates, and the gentleman before me, he made a really good point. You know, he's 81 years old and he's afraid of things changing and not having any control over it. And it feels familiar. You know, that's the situation we're in. For a lot of us, this home is our largest asset. For some of us, it's our only asset. Its value depends, you know, a lot on the price that we have to pay per month to be there and the price that someone else would have to pay if they bought it from us. As that price goes up, the value of our home goes down. The value of our only asset goes down. So if there is no limit to how much that can be raised, or it's not even reasonable, we have no control over the value of our own assets, just as the gentleman before us was concerned about things changing out of his control. A lot rent stabilization does more than just protect monthly budgets. It helps protect the value of the homes we live in, and we already pay taxes on them. So, thanks.
Did you want to give the council a paper, or are you?
Yeah. Thank you. Members of the town council, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Joel Brown, President, Chief Operating Officer of RHP Properties, the owner-operator of Pine Tree Estates. Pine Tree Estates manufactured housing community provides one of the most accessible forms of unsubsidized homeownership available in Cumberland County. Since we began managing Pine Tree Estates 7 years ago, we have strived to preserve a community that is stable, neighborly, and benefits residents and the quality lifestyle. Our approach to rent increases is one that we never take lightly and one that balances residents' needs along with the operational reality of maintaining a well-cared-for community. We are mindful of the limited availability of comparable affordable housing options in Standish and the surrounding area, and our operating practices reflect that awareness. Lot rents for residents who were living at Pine Tree Estates when we began managing in May of 2019 have increased on average 5.3% per year. Over those same 7 years, the Maine State Housing Authority's published fair market rents for the region, including Standish, went up 7.3% for a 2-bedroom apartment in this market and went up 6.2% for a 3-bedroom. Single-family home values increased in Standish by 8.2% and in Cumberland County, 8%. We engaged with residents throughout the recent rent increase process, and although the proposed 2026 4.3% increase was permitted under Maine law, we participated in mediation to foster open communication and reached an outcome that reduced the rent increase to 4.1% and provided each resident with 2-month rent increase credit. To put these numbers in further context, most of Pine Tree Estates residents pay $680 lot rent per month on average, when compared to Pine Tree Estates all-in payment, lot plus home loan, according to the Maine State Housing Authority's published fair market rents for the region, including Standish, the monthly premium to live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Standish is 44% more, a 3-bedroom apartment is 75% more, and a single-family rental is 100% more, and owning a single-family home is 115% more. The current cost of living in Pine Tree Estates is substantially below other housing options. Pine Tree Estates is a desirable place to live, evidenced by resale home value and 100% occupancy. One indication of that is the number of residents who recommend the community to friends and family. Since RHP began managing Pine Tree Estates, 263 referrals have come from existing residents, with several referrals coming from residents who have been some of the largest critics of the community. Another sign of the community's appeal is that the homes sell quickly when they come under market.
That's your time.
And lot rent has not slowed home sales. In the last 7 years, 125 homes, 56%, have been sold in the community. Thank you for your opportunity to speak.
We also have to pay taxes on our homes.
You're welcome to come to the podium to speak if you'd like to speak, but no comments from your seat.
Hi, my name is Michelle Guilford. I live in National Lane. I've lived at Pine Tree Estates for 30 years. Some of Joel's math definitely doesn't add up, and unfortunately, I only have 3 minutes to talk, and I didn't have time to figure it out. But does he forget that we pay a mortgage and we pay other things? So the $680 that he's quoting, I believe, is the lowest rent at the trailer park, because the rent to move in now is $1,000 a month. And if he is telling us 125 houses sold, I believe he said in the last year, that means, I'm sorry, I am on the fly, I'm trying to answer those questions. 125 houses sold, that means they're paying the higher rent. So there's no way that the average rent is $680 if 125 houses have been sold since they bought it. But I'm gonna read you what I wrote instead of trying to answer his questions quickly. You know, some people say I knew what I was getting into. No, I did not. And residents need to stop being blamed for circumstances they could not reasonably have predicted. When my family moved to Pine Tree Estates in 1996, we were a young family looking for an affordable place to own a home. Our lot rent was approximately $235 a month because we had the largest lot in there. Of course, we understood that rent would increase over time. What we could not have foreseen was a future in which incoming residents would be charged $1,000 a month simply for the land beneath a home they must still purchase, maintain, insure, and repair themselves. We could not have predicted that decades later, large investment companies would view mobile home communities as opportunities for aggressive rent growth precisely because residents cannot easily move their home. Many of our senior residents made equally responsible decisions. They worked their entire lives, sold conventional homes, and moved here because a small home and yard seemed like a sensible way to live with their retirement income. They were planning carefully, not foolishly. They could not have reasonably predicted that the lot rent alone would approach $1,000 a month while on Social Security. Buying a home in a mobile home community is not consent to unlimited future rent increases. It is not a blank check handed to every future owner of the land. Residents accepted the ordinary risk of reasonable increases, not the risk that a different owner could transform an affordable community into an investment vehicle and keep testing how much people can pay before they lose their homes. And these are our homes. We paid for them. We pay the taxes on them. We maintain the roof, the furnace, the siding, and everything else. It's not the same as an apartment. But if the land rent becomes unaffordable, we cannot simply move to another apartment. Moving a manufactured home can cost thousands of dollars. That is captive tenancy.
$1,000 a month rent.
Please stop asking why residents failed to predict this decades ago.
Michelle.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Good evening, my name's Jeff Giamo, and I live with my partner at 6 Deer Hill Ave. And we purchased our home in 2022, moved in May of 2022. And I thought it would be an interesting exercise to take a look at the assessed value of the home as on the Standish website over the years, and discovered that between the time we purchased it, the year we purchased it, and just last year, the assessed value increased almost 65%. If we were to take that 65% and apply it to the cost of our home, theoretically, we could get, I'll give a range, between $150,000 and $160,000. Currently, most homes in Pine Tree Estates are selling, and the prices have been knocked down over the past few weeks. There's, who knows, lots of competition. Captive tenancy may play into it. But most homes are selling just for about $120,000 at this time. So do our taxes play into this? And is RHP warranted in increasing their rents basically 49% since we first moved in? These are just numbers that I've been playing around with, and in terms of my partner and I selling our home, we're probably not going to budge below $150,000, especially with what's going on right now. We don't have to leave right away, but it's just interesting to see the variation between the assessed values and the increase RHP is charging, as well as the market values of the homes currently selling. And RHP has added some additional, I guess, benefit since we first moved in, and they've added some security cameras. The maintenance crew has, in my opinion, gotten better. But again, does it warrant a 49% increase for new tenants coming in? And so there's many questions in my mind, and I hope I've left a few questions for you to think about.
The handout that Joel just gave the council members is on the table over there. There's also a copy of the handout Michelle had given all of us councilors before the meeting started. That's over there as well, if anybody wants to see those. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak?
Hello, my name is Adrienne Paul, and I'm at 609 Middle Road, Steep Falls. I just wanted to start by saying that I believe the problem that we're discussing tonight is very real. Manufactured housing has historically been one of our most affordable paths to homeownership, particularly for seniors and working families. But these homeowners are uniquely vulnerable. They own their homes, but they don't own the land underneath them. When a large corporation purchases a park and dramatically increases the lot rents, residents can't simply move their homes somewhere cheaper. That creates an imbalance that deserves our attention and, in my opinion, meaningful protection. But good policy also requires us to distinguish between the behavior we're trying to stop and the people who aren't causing the problem. Standish has responsible park owners who have kept rents affordable and treated their residents fairly. I don't believe our only option should be placing those owners under essentially the same regulatory structure as an operator charging significantly higher rents. Maine's model municipal rent stabilization ordinance provides an important concept worth considering: an affordability safe harbor for rents that are already below a defined threshold. I believe Standish should pursue that kind of approach whenever legally possible. If a park is maintaining genuinely affordable rents, allow reasonable flexibility. If rents cross that threshold, or an owner imposes an extraordinary increase, additional review and justification should be required. Otherwise, we risk creating an unintended incentive for responsible owners with low rents to raise them now because they fear being permanently tied to an artificially low base later. That would accomplish exactly the opposite of what we are trying to do. Maine has also strengthened protections when mobile home parks are solid by giving residents notice and an opportunity to organize and purchase their community under certain circumstances. I would like Standish to build upon those protections and help make the residents' ownership a realistic option whenever possible. This isn't about being anti-landlord, anti-business, or anti-investment. It's about protecting affordable homeownership from a business model where increasing the value of an investment can depend dramatically increasing the land underneath homes people already own. Protect the residents who are vulnerable, protect the responsible owners who are keeping housing affordable, and focus on our regulations on the behavior that is actually creating the problem. I believe that we can and should do all three.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
My name is Heidi Bello. I live at 21 Sunset Drive in Standish at the park. I don't know if anyone understands, but a lot of us here are on Social Security. Social Security only goes up 2.8%. That's it. Only during the coronavirus, it went up to 8%, but after that, it went back down to 2.8. We're living off Social Security and maybe a little pension. They're not taking that into consideration. They're saying their affordability, but they're not when it comes to seniors. And that needs to be, and we have a lot of seniors. So that should be considerate on what they do. When they go up 4.3%, 4.1%, that's a heck of a lot more than 2.8. And we have to live off that. Maintain our house, maintain their property, and we're responsible. If you ask them for help, we have to pay them so much an hour to come and do anything. So you might as well just get a plumber and pay him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Carrie Hars. I live at 50 Pine Grove Drive. We bought our mobile home in 2022. We are another at-risk community. We have a disabled child. There are a lot of people in RHP Pine Tree Estates that have disabled children because our cost of living is greater than the normal household. We also moved to Standish because of Edna Libby. They have a fantastic special education program, and we are very blessed to be a part of that. With the foregoing increases that RHP has put on us, it is a risk for the future as to whether or not we'll ever be able to leave our mobile home and buy something else because of the depreciation with the increased lot rents. We tried finding apartments before we bought a mobile home, and we were unsuccessful because of our special needs son. So we are somewhat trapped. We had to make a budget based on our expenses for him, and the mobile home was what was affordable and that what we could get into. And it's a fantastic neighborhood. There are tons of children, and the risk is that that's not going to be the same anymore if things keep getting more expensive. There are a lot of my son in the development, and I think we do need to protect it as a town because there's no place else for families to go when you have a child that stems, is loud. It's the safe place because we couldn't even get an apartment because of that. So please take that into consideration as well. It's not just seniors at risk, it's also families with children with disabilities. Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak? Once. All right, that is the close of the public hearing. There's not going to be a council vote this evening. Would any council members like to speak? We'll move on to new business.
Just one thing.
Yes.
Even though it was mentioned how many people we need to have show up to the polls for this kind of vote, you guys still need to rally because only the people that you've talked to and are seeing this video are going to know what's coming up with that question. So you still have to make sure your job is not done. I just want to put that out there.
All right, we're going to move on to new business.
Order 83-26, waive bid process for purchase of 2 new and 1 used vehicle for the Public Safety Department.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to table it to the next meeting, excuse me.
Second that.
All in favor of tabling this to the next meeting? That has been tabled. We will move on to 8426.
Order 8426, call for special town meeting referendum election regarding petitioned ordinance entitled Mobile Home Park Rent Stabilization. Place referendum question on the ballot, authorize warrant, and call for a public hearing for the November 3rd, 2026 special town meeting referendum election. Ordered that the Standish Town Council calls for a special town meeting referendum election to be held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2026, and be it further ordered that the following referendum question be placed on the ballot. Question to be determined number, shall an ordinance entitled Mobile Home Park Rent Stabilization be enacted? There'll be an indicator for yes and an indicator for no. Be it further ordered that the required public hearing on this referendum question, in addition to all other referendum questions to be voted upon at the November 3rd, 2026 special town meeting referendum election, will be held on Tuesday, October 13th, 2026, during the regularly scheduled monthly town council meeting, which begins at 6:00 p.m., and the warrant for the special town meeting referendum election will be approved at a future town council meeting.
At this time, I'm going to open the floor for any public comments. Does anyone have any public comments? Seeing no public comments, I will close that. Are there any council comments? Yes.
I just want to make sure that everyone understands what we're voting on here is to put the question to the voters. We're not voting here on yes or no of putting this rent stabilization ordinance into place. We're voting on putting it to the voters. I just want to make sure everyone understands the vote.
Any other council comments? All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Braun? Yes. Libby?
Yes.
Lowe?
Yes.
Macri?
Yes.
Strubing?
Yes.
Thomas?
Abstain?
Watson?
Yes.
6 yeses, 1 abstain.
That is approved. Now move on to 85-26.
Order number 85-26, approval of November 3rd, 2026 special town meeting warrant. Whereas the town council wishes to submit 2 sets of proposed amendments to the town charter to the voters of the town for approval, consistent with section 907 of the town charter and 30A
Motion that we
MRS.
waive the reading.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor of waiving the reading? That's unanimous. Reading is waived. I'll give a summary of what it is. So what this is this is the warrant for the 3 questions that are going to be placed on the ballot on November 3rd. There is the amendment to the ordinances changing the meeting requirements from 3 to 2. There is a question to amend the charter to increase the total cost of capital expenditures for approval by a referendum vote from $75,000 to $150,000. And then then there's also going to be the question about the mobile home park rent stabilization. The polls will open at 7 and close at 8. We'll open the floor for any public comment. Does anyone want to speak? Come on up, Izzy.
Izzy Higgins, 215 Bonnie Eagle Road. I just think something should be mentioned about why the poll hours have changed, because I don't think from 6 AM to 7 AM. And I know there's been research done, but I don't know that the public's aware of that. So I think that's something that ought to be tossed out for information. Thank you.
I got it.
Okay.
And so my staff are usually here at 3 AM and work a 24-hour shift, which is crazy. There are 5 towns in the state that do that. We have plenty of hours that you can come, weekends, nights, early before that. So early ballots can be requested up to 3 months in advance. And office voting voters can cast their ballots at the office up to 30 days before the election once our ballots are received. Voters available, you can do an ongoing absentee status that you can ask for it, only ask once, and it gets automatically sent to you every time. We also have extended voting hours offered in the days leading up to the election. I have the whole list here of what it is, and really, like, it's unreasonable to ask the staff to work for 24 hours. That's what they've been doing. So we felt by changing it 1 hour will save them several, because they have to get here earlier to do some stuff. And we are sending that out in news and announcement, and she's on vacation, so upon her return, that is going out.
Any other public comment? I will close the public comment. Any council comment? All right, I'll close council comment. Can I have a roll call, please?
Braun? Yes. Libby?
Yes.
Lowe?
Yes.
Macri?
Yes.
Strubing? Yes. Thomas?
Abstain for conflict of interest.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yeas.
That is 6 yeses, so that is approved. Next is 8626.
Order 8626, enactment of emergency ordinance establishing a moratorium on mobile home park rent increases. Whereas section 212 of the town charter empowers the town council to enact emergency ordinances upon a finding that such an emergency exists, with such emergency ordinance to be effective immediately upon adoption and expiring on the 91st day following such enactment. And whereas, and outlined herein, the town council has adjudged such an emergency to exist with regard to the potential for unregulated increases in lot rent for mobile home park lots located in Standish between now and the potential effective date of a proposed ordinance to establish rent stabilization for mobile home parks. Now therefore be it ordered by the town council of the town of Standish, Maine, that the emergency ordinance establishing a moratorium on mobile home park lot rent increases is hereby enacted, effective immediately. Be it further ordered that such ordinance be posted and printed consistent with section 213 of the town charter.
I'm going to open up the floor for any public comment. Is there any public comment?
Yes, Michelle Guilford, 18 Ashley Lane. Obviously, I believe this should be passed. You know, people say that that Maine state law, which really isn't a law, it's non-binding, is what had park owners raising rents, skyrocketing rents, as Jim Libby, our state legislator, said that that's what caused it. So yeah, we need protection. A free market, it requires a meaningful choice. We don't have one. When one side owns the only land beneath our home and controls the rent fees and rules, that's captive tenancy, not normal market competition. That is why we need a rent stabilization and a moratorium until the residents of Standish can vote on this. And this is a stabilization, not a rent freeze. People keep saying they can't raise the rent. That is not what this is. It still allows increases. You know, he talks about his leach field, and I do feel bad. I wish I paid $400 a month for rent. I wish I paid $450 for rent. Do I feel bad that he thinks he can't raise his rent? I do, because he obviously is invested in his community. He lives there. He's lived here all his life. And in our park, this is about an investment. This is about how much money they can make. That is what it's about. And So we need a moratorium to protect us until the Standish residents can vote. Several Maine communities have already recognized the unique vulnerability of homeowners who own their houses, not the land beneath. Standish residents deserve this protection too. Doing nothing is also a decision. It means allowing a national corporation to determine without meaningful local oversight how much captive homeowners can be required to pay. I am asking the Standish Council to choose accountability, predictability, and community, and give us a chance to let the voters decide on this issue. Protecting stable communities is a legitimate local responsibility. Standish has every reason to establish predictable standards before more residents reach the point where they can no longer live there. Our rent should reflect documented costs. And again, the one thing I want to say is the local owners that are invested in their communities, meaning they feel for their tenants. He doesn't want to raise his rent $15. I get it. I wish that was how our park was run, but unfortunately it's not. And we live there and we want to stay living there. We love our community. We love our neighbors, but we need help. We can't do it ourselves. I mean, I've read and I've had people say to me, like, councils or municipalities or whatever have to be careful with what they do with national corporations because they have many lawyers. I was here the day Joel came and said, we have these lawyers here to represent us. Don't discriminate against low-income mobile home parks. I don't have the money to pay 5 lawyers. I don't have
your time is up.
Anything. I need you to protect me.
Anyone else want to speak? All right, I will close the public comments. Any council comments? Yes.
I think this is important. What we've had is the community stepping up to say, hey, we want to make this change. We got it on, it's on the ballot. It is up to the Standish town and the community to determine whether they want to enact that or not. What this is to make sure that the prices don't rise before that decision is made. That's it. That's all it is. It's simple. It is a let's let the community and the town decide. And once they decide yes or no, this is out. This doesn't matter anymore. But let's keep it in there. Let's have this until the town gets to decide.
Any other council comment? Yes.
Yes, actually I'd like to balance that out, different side of the coin. If we have representatives for the mobile home estates here, the question I would have is, have you raised your rates once this year? Is there any expectation that you're gonna need to make any adjustments within the next 90 days under existing law? I think I know the answer, but I'd kind of like to get that first. So if anybody would care to offer that, I'd appreciate it.
I'll give Joel and Clifton the courtesy of answering that if they'd like.
As stated previously, we already did a rent increase for this year, and that was already effective, which was a reduction based on the mediation below the state, what the state requires us to do.
And no expectation of raising in the next 90 days.
Historically, our plan is only to raise the rents once a year, and we've already done that for this year.
I'm sorry, that didn't, I don't think that answered the question.
What was the question?
The question was, do you anticipate a rent increase in the next 90 days? You said historically. Historically is not, would you do it knowing what was coming?
Oh, no,
Do you anticipate a rent increase in the next 90 days?
I do not anticipate a rent increase in the next 90 days. That's the question.
That was the question, Jeff?
Yeah, if you anticipated one, and actually, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Well, I think we're well past that.
Well, put you more upon the spot, but are you in a position to know that answer today? Because you do represent.
Well, I think that I don't think that that's a fair question in this environment. I think that there are so many different things are changing. We thought that the state had enacted a law that we were following. Things are changing and very fluid. So like I said, I told you what our practice is. I think that's indicative of what our intentions are, but given the fact that everything is very fluid, I don't want to make a commitment to something that I'm not able to do because of that. I think that our historical practice speaks for itself in terms of, I outlined what our rent increases have been. I've explained what our recent rent increase was, and that is, I think, it really speaks to the question.
Clifton, would you like to respond?
No, I'm not gonna increase it.
In case anybody didn't hear that, Mr. Marion said he's not going to increase rent in the next 90 days at his park. Are there any other comments? I'll remind the counselors that this is an emergency ordinance, so this needs 5 votes in the affirmative to pass. Can we have roll call, please?
Braun? Yes. Libby?
Yes.
Lowe?
Yes.
Macri?
Yes.
Strubing?
Yes.
Thomas?
Abstain?
Watson?
No.
There's 5 yeas, so passes.
That is approved. Now we're moving on to order 8726.
Order number 8726, accept resignation from recycling committee member. Ordered that the resignation of recycling committee member Diana Wallingford submitted on August 18th, 2026, hereby accepted.
Go ahead. I'm gonna give the audience a moment to leave the room. Yes.
Thank you for hearing.
I would imagine 5 minutes. We have 2 items and they're pretty much.
The other guy was straight up. Nope.
If it was me, I'd be running to the bathroom right now.
For the 2 independent. 100%. He makes valid, here he goes. He's making it, it's not his part.
All right, let's get back to business. Order number 8726. Are there any public comments? I will open the floor. No public comments. I will close that. Any council comments?
Just wanted to make a comment. Diana Wallingford has been an employee here and on this committee for a long time, and we appreciate her service to the town. I understand that she's moving south, so we appreciate her and thank her for her work here.
Any other council comments? All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Braun? Yes. Libby?
Yes.
Lowe? Yes. Macri?
Yes.
Strubing?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
That is 7 yeses, that approves. Now we will move on to order 8826.
Order number 8826, town council appointment to various boards and committees. Ordered that the following appointment is made through the date given. Stephen Jordan for Assessment Review Board through June 2029. Stephen Jordan, Public Safety Committee through June 2027.
I presume these, Councilor Braun, these came out of the appointments committee today?
Yes, they did. We did meet earlier today, and we did nominate Stephen Jordan for the positions of Board of Assessment Review and Public Safety Committee.
Thank you. Any public comment? Seeing none. Any council comment?
I just had one question. He's allowed to serve on both of these boards at the same time, right? Good. Okay.
Any other council comment? All right, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Braun?
Yes.
Libby?
Yes.
Lowe?
Yes.
Macri?
Yes.
Strubing?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
That is 7 yeses, that is approved. Now we are opening up for public items. Does anyone from the public have anything they would like to say? You can have 3 minutes to say anything. Speak now. All right, I'm going to close public comments. Any councilor comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn? We're not going to go to executive session, so.
Make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all in favor of adjourning? We're adjourned.
We need to